Hello, Journey family and friends. It's Pastor John with you in this week's edition of Midweek Conversations, and you could probably already tell, got a whole bunch of people that are joining me in this week's edition. First, most people know Tammy Joseph. Tammy, good to have you with us today.
Thank you.
Tammy is a director of family ministries here at Journey over both of our campuses, Apopka and Lake County. So welcome, Tammy. And Tammy, who do we have here with us today? We got 4 young adults that are all our interns with us, right?
That's right. There are summer interns. First, we have Cam. He is our Journey Kids intern.
Cool.
Then we have Samadhi. She is also a Journey Kids intern. Then we have Peyton, who is our first worship intern for Next Gen. And then we have Cason, who's one of our student ministry interns.
Good deal. Well, welcome. You guys have been with us, a couple weeks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's start with you, Kim. Tell us a little bit about where you're from and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I grew up in Colorado, Parker, Colorado, just south of Denver. I've lived there my whole life. When I went to college, I went to Liberty, and my family followed me out there. I'm going to be a senior this fall. My family followed me out there, and so they live in Virginia Beach area now, and now I'm down here. So,
what's your major in college?
Yeah, I'm studying strategic communications, which is kind of like graphic design,
Nice.
advertising, and I have a biblical studies minor. But my passions are in Next Gen Men. I love student ministry, kids ministry, and I'd love to eventually do Airbnb or own a coffee shop or something like that, and then funnel all of that into ministry and work alongside a church and give a place for the church and church leaders to come and to a way to serve them. And so that's kind of where my heart is right now. It may change, but yeah.
I'm down with Airbnb and coffee.
Yeah.
Both of those things are
I'll
really
take care
cool.
of you.
I like it. Thanks, Kim. Samadis, let's talk about you.
All right. Hi, I'm Samadis. I'm from Longwood, Florida, so I'm local to the area. I go to UCF. I'm going to be a senior this coming year, and I'm studying early childhood education.
Samadhi's is from the family, from the Journey family.
I was waiting to hear Charge On.
Oh, yeah. Go Knights.
Go Knights. Charge On. Yeah. That's, I don't know if Ron Johnson ever watches this. Ron is Vicki Johnson's husband, and his Twitter handle is UCF Ron.
I'm a huge fan.
Are you a
huge fan of UCF Ron? Yes, I am.
Ron's tweeting 15, 20 times a day, and it's almost always UCF
yes, it's
related
my favorite.
stuff. I mean, he's awesome. So Charge On. That was for you, Ron, if you ever watch this. But at least we're going to have some family watching this,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Samadhi's has been a part of the Journey family. You said from
12
a little
years
girl.
today.
12 years.
Today, yeah.
Is that
12
right?
years. Yep.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. Let's jump up to Peyton.
Yeah, so my name is Peyton. I come from Lexington, North Carolina. It's just an hour directly north of Charlotte. And I'm going into my senior year of studying music and worship and youth ministry at Liberty University. And what I want to do with that is I've pretty much given my life to the church. I want to go into full-time ministry at a church, preferably, but really just wherever God calls me. And I also want to teach music. I think there's great value in worship, especially in students. And if we as church leaders can properly communicate disciplines and how what it looks like to live a worship lifestyle, I think we can do a really great job in raising the next generation of church leaders who can live authentic worship lifestyles. So,
now, Peyton, I've heard you play the piano. Do you play other instruments?
Yeah, I mostly play guitar and
do
sing.
you really? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Play trombone for 8 years also.
Can you give me some lessons on the guitar a little bit? You want to teach music? I've got a guitar. I used to play a long time ago. I need to get it back out. So
I got you. Anytime.
You got me?
Anytime.
All right.
Free.
Sounds good.
It's on the house.
You like a little Willie Nelson? Do you know who that is?
I know who that is.
Okay,
I don't know any of the songs, but I can learn.
All right, got you. Good deal. Cason.
Awesome. So my name is Cason Gregory. I am from Concord, North Carolina, just as directly north of Charlotte. Grew up there my whole life, and I'm currently going into my senior year at Liberty University, studying Christian leadership and church ministry, and I have a focus on biblical studies. So I just love the next generation of ministry, and I just love for students to know God and to make Him known.
Now, the three of you, the three guys, talked about a huge influence on you two guys that are here. One's a resident and one was a resident. Josh Tiaga, who's our director of student ministries here at our Apopka campus, and one of our newest residents, Ben Belangi. Ben was a intern last summer, but you had mentioned that both those guys were a huge influence on you guys wanting to come here and do this.
Yeah, so Ben was actually my RA whenever I first came to
Okay.
Liberty,
Yeah.
and so was my RA for my first and second year, and really just kind of influenced me to walk deeper in my relationship with Christ, and really just saw his heart and discipleship, and got to serve alongside of him at our church in Virginia before he transitioned down here to Journey.
Nice. Isn't it cool, Tammy, to see, last year had an intern, and he was so excited about being at Journey. Now he's a resident, but not only that, influenced other people to be interns.
Yep. When Dustin and I went up to Liberty in the fall,
Yeah.
a few of these guys were talking, and they were talking about one of the teachings that Dustin did at the resident class.
Yeah.
So Dustin was teaching at the resident class on seasons of the soul.
Yeah.
And Ben was part of that. And then he took the notes back and he taught it to his hall. So they're all talking about stuff. And Pastor Dustin was like, how did they even get this content? And it was because Ben took it back to Liberty. So that was
Wow.
really cool.
Very cool. Now, Samadis, you've been at Journey for a while. Why this summer as opposed to in the past? About this the summer you won't be an intern?
Yeah, I think I definitely started feeling like ministry could be a possibility for me in the future as I'm going to be a senior this year in college. It's kind of crazy to think about. So I just have always had such a big heart for next gen ministry, specifically kids in the early childhood and elementary ages. So I just love that. I mean, I learned about Jesus in the very halls that I'm interning in right now. So it's really special to be back there and teaching the kids at the same time and building that foundation for their walk of faith. So it's just really exciting to be back. So.
That is so cool to hear that's where you were taught, and now you're leading there.
Yeah.
Very, very good. How many of you are going into your senior year? This coming up your senior? All four of you.
Yeah.
Wow. I know Pastor Kevin Monahan's used the phrase that an internship either elevates or eliminates your desire to pursue full-time vocational ministry. And I always like to kind of distinguish that. I think it's vocational ministry because we're all full-time ministers. I don't care what you do. And that means you that are watching right now, if you're in Christ, you're a full-time minister. But vocationally, this is what we do professionally or as a career. So it sounds like this is one of those summers where you're going to figure that out a little bit more, and some of you already say this is what I'm going to do. Very good. So last week, big week, student life camp. First time we've had camp. Anybody going to camp in 2 years, 2 summers.
Yeah.
So it was we had 100, ended up 99.
Yes.
Someone got ill, couldn't go, but 99. And I was like we were saying earlier today in a meeting. That's like the biggest group I would think at this camp. How many were there total? Do you know?
There was I think over 600.
600.
Yeah.
We had a
so it was
sixth of them.
huge- Yep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of them were smaller groups, all from the Florida area.
Yeah.
But the interns were actually surprised because they didn't know when they signed up for the internship that they were going to actually get to go to camp.
Oh.
And so
Is that a good surprise?
It was a great
Yes.
surprise.
It was great.
Samadis was in tears.
Aw.
I haven't been to camp since I was a student. So to know that we were going to get to go to camp this year, Tammy told me in the hallway on a Sunday, and I started crying. And I went up to Josh and I was like, I get to go to camp. And he was like, yeah, didn't you know that? And I was like, no, just so many tears. So I was really excited.
Very good. So 99, that's students and leaders that went. But again, earlier today, we just took some time just to revisit a lot of those conversations. So many great conversations. Any of you all have a favorite camp memory that you want to share or cool moment?
Yeah. I was a leader me and Ben Belangi were a leader for 12th graders, which was different for me because I've worked with middle schoolers, and I'm the kids intern, so I've worked with middle schoolers and kids. And so I got to be with 12th graders, the top of the class at this camp. And one specifically, we had a guy go from very hard-hearted towards camp and towards the ministry side of camp. Some of the guys just wanted to have fun. totally great. But the ministry side was very heavy. And so we got to see his heart go from he didn't super care about the ministry side and getting poured into in the messages in worship. And then 2 days later, he's telling us that he thinks he is called to go into ministry.
Wow.
And that transition is just something only God can do.
Amen. Amen
And
to that.
there wasn't a lot, honestly, that we played into it as leaders besides prayer. And we had some of our other group praying, and we had other leaders praying. And so that was just an insane transition, and it was super encouraging. And there's so many other stories too, but
Yeah.
I'll let y'all share some.
Cason, you have something you want to share?
Absolutely. So I had the privilege of serving with 6th and 7th grade boys this week, and it was super inspiring. I had 10 of them in my life group, and it was really cool because they came in with just the expectation to have fun and have a good time, since it was a rec camp.
Yeah.
But by the end of the week, we just saw God stirring in their hearts, just a desire to go deeper and to know Him better. And so one of our students actually, me and Josh actually just got the privilege of baptizing him yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Is
And
that
so-
Elijah, the
Elijah,
young man you were
yes.
talking about? That's great.
Yeah. But at the beginning of the week, Elijah was just very apprehensive and very closed off. But we had one instance to where we had lunch together, and we were just having casual conversations, and he had asked me, he was like, "What is the saddest passage in the Bible to you?" And so he was like, "Is it the one where Jesus wept?" And I was like, "No, let's turn to like Matthew 7. Let's talk about like whenever you call Lord, Lord, and he says, 'Depart from me, for I never knew you.'"
Mm.
And he was like, "I don't want Jesus not to know me.
Mm.
Like I want to be known
Mm.
by Jesus."
Wow.
And so that started prompting conversations, and it was really awesome to see how God used that moment.
Yeah.
Because that same evening session, we talked about just what unlikely hope was, and just like how we have hope in Jesus.
Yeah.
And also in our large group gathering, Josh brought up Matthew 7, and it was a really cool connection point to him.
Wow.
And it was the night where all the conversations started about him surrendering his life to Jesus.
That is so cool. Wow. That's some deep conversation for 6th and 7th graders
These
there.
kids
I'm telling
were
you.
so
Wow.
these kids were so hungry. The questions they
Yeah.
were, some of our small group leaders even were like, I feel so not equipped to like lead these kids because
Yeah.
they were just asking such good questions. And I was like, it's okay. You don't have to know all the answers,
Right.
but let's open the word and find it.
Yeah, right. That's great. How about you, Samaris?
So, oh my gosh, there are so many moments that I loved about camp, but I think something really special was when one of the nights, I think it was like the last night, they had all the kids gather up in groups for their schools. So all the kids, like we had a bunch of schools represented. I mean, we had like almost 80 students. So they all just kind of got into their little small groups and started praying over their schools. And so as a proud alumni of Lake Brantley High School, I went over to pray with them. And it was so special because like I prayed last, so I let all the students pray, but just hearing them pray and like their heart for the school that I love so much and that they are currently attending, it was just really beautiful to see how they're stepping into a leadership position there, like spiritually, and just championing that school and lifting it up in prayer. So it's really beautiful, as well as just seeing all the other schools. I mean, I love this area, so to see all these different schools be represented, it was so beautiful to see that.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, Peyton.
Yeah. So I had a student who opened up to me one-on-one just about their struggle with depression and anxiety. And so I sat with them for a little while and we talked through it. We talked about it. And later that evening in life group, they opened up about it to the entire group. And then that led into other students in our life group opening up about things that they've struggled with.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about another thing that they didn't know was they didn't know what sins were, and they knew the definition,
Right.
but they didn't know what activities were sins and what weren't. And so we broke that down and looked at it, and that led into them asking crazy questions like, what is repentance? And then what is the Holy Spirit? What is the Holy Trinity? And these are conversations that I don't even know how to have with myself. So we were having them with 8th grade boys. And it was just amazing to see how hungry they were to know God more and to go deeper in their faith. They really wanted to breach the surface, even to the point where now they've all made like structured quiet time in the morning and in the evening. They did at camp, so we're praying that they'll continue to do that moving forward.
Man, what great stories. And there's so many more that could be shared. But just again, Tammy, how important camp is.
Mhm.
It really is a catalyst, isn't it?
It
that
really is.
takes, students from here to here in their walk with the Lord,
Mm-hmm.
not only in making a decision to follow Jesus, but to really surrender and be serious about following Jesus. And some make vocational decisions, right? We had a couple of those.
We did. Yeah. I actually ran into a parent on Saturday
Mhm.
and she was like, when I got my daughter back from camp, she was like, she talked the whole time. She hasn't stopped talking. And she said to me, she was like, could we do camp every 3 months?
Oh, yeah.
She said, because the fire in these kids is just amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Well, just a couple things before we wrap up. One, a lot of the campers went because of your generosity, because you provided a scholarship. It's not cheap to go to camp,
No.
and so a lot of people from Journey said, "Hey, we want to help make sure kids get to camp that want to go to camp, but maybe are struggling financially to put that money together." So a lot of you did that. And we learned that one of our students that was baptized was someone that got a scholarship. So you made a huge difference. So want to thank you for that. The second thing we want to make sure, let's make sure everybody knows your host home and who's housing you this summer. Start with you, Cam.
Yeah, I'm with Jetsy and Vin, and they are Ben Belangi's host home like cousins. So
Yes.
kind of a cool connection. They have 2 little kids, super fun. I haven't gotten to spend as much time with them as I'd like to because we've been so busy and then with camp. But they're super nice. They're amazing people, and I'm super blessed to be in a
So to
kind
say
of
the first
some-
names again, Vin and
Jetsy.
Jesse.
Jetsy.
Jetsy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah, so Jetsy came up to me and at church, and she said, "I just got to tell you, Tammy, I love Cam." So she loves you guys. She loves you, and she's grateful to be able to host you.
Yeah, they're the best. They're so awesome. So
Thank you, Vin and Jetsy, so much for making our internship program possible. How about you, Peyton? Where you stand?
I'm staying in one of 2 spare rooms with Cass and Caleb Conley. They are the best. They're so fun.
Yeah.
I don't think Cass has ever had a bad day in her life. She's just the most happy person I think I've ever met. And Caleb's just the coolest person I've ever met. So, I mean, they're just wonderful, and they've been so hospitable and just opened up their home to me, and very, very thankful for them.
Wow. Well, a lot of people may know who Cass Conley is. Cass is our connections director here at our Apopka campus, and she is awesome. She's a real rock star. Caleb, you see him on the platform a lot. He helps lead in worship. So that's great. I didn't know you were staying there. That's awesome. What about you, Cason?
So I am also staying at Cass and Caleb's.
Oh, okay.
So
Double
they-
shout out.
Absolutely. So they were generous enough to open up their home to both me and Peyton, and just were so hospitable and welcoming with our transition down to Florida. And it's just made Journey even feel more like home.
Wow. Well, all 3 of you landed very well in those places. I'm assuming you're at home.
Yes, I am at home with my wonderful mom and my sister.
Shout out to somebody's mom right there.
Shout out to my mom and to my
Exactly.
sister and her husband and my nephew.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, it takes a lot to have programs like this, like an internship and certainly residence. But what you do to help provide the housing for that, and just not just the housing, but just encouragement, just a welcoming. Journey's such a welcoming place. It has been from the beginning since I visited, and how you make these young adults feel, and it could make a huge difference in what direction they choose to go in life. So thank you guys for doing that. Tammy, let's talk about just a few other things happening this summer. What else are the interns going to be helping us out with this summer?
Yep. So right now, as this is airing, we're having our Say So night for high school. So
Say So, yeah.
It's our testimony night
Okay.
where the students share their testimonies from camp. So that's
Oh.
amazing. But our next big event will be for kids. It'll be
Yeah.
Summer Jam.
Summer Jam.
Summer Jam is
And tell us the dates on that.
July 18th to the 21st.
9 to
9
noon.
a.m. to noon. Yep. It's
Yep.
a free kids camp
Here at the Apopka campus.
here at the Apopka campus. Our
Right.
Lake County campus will be coming over to this
Nice.
campus. And
Good.
so everyone will play a part in that. It doesn't matter where their residency is, they'll be playing a part in that. So that's going to be great. And really the next several weeks, we have different things happening with our middle school and high school ministry. We have a special
Yeah.
summer calendar. And so there will be fun events happening for the students all summer long.
And when does the internship wrap up?
It wraps up the first week of August.
First week
so
of
it's
August.
10 weeks total.
Yeah.
So they'll be heading back to Liberty. Samadhi still be staying here, but they'll be heading back to Liberty the first week of August.
Well, and it gives them a chance to go back home maybe for a week or so and then head off
Yep.
for that senior year.
Yep.
It's amazing how quick this time goes. You probably show up and think, wow, it's going to be a long time, but it'll go by really quick. And just great to have you guys with us this summer. Really happy that you're here and proud of you, and pray God just continues to unfold all kinds of good stuff, helpful stuff for you, and you make these foundational decisions coming up here. All right, Tammy, thanks for joining me this week.
Thanks for having us.
And Midweek Conversations. Thank you for joining us. Part 3 of Things to Know Before You Go is this Sunday. Pastor Harvey Carpenter, our online pastor, he's going to be bringing the message this week. And I think he said the message is titled, What Happens the Second You Die? Or something like that, which sounds pretty interesting that you would want to know. But that's what we've been talking about in this series, aging, death, dying, and then the life to come. As we wrap up the last week of June. But this week, 9:30, 11:15, Apopka, Lake County, and certainly online. And isn't it cool about these online stories? We heard someone from a cruise ship this past week, someone from a battleship, the USS Baton.
Oh.
I don't know where that, in the Pacific, Atlantic, I'm not sure where it is, but they were watching our online. So we see a lot of people join us online. So 9:30, 11:15 a.m. this Sunday. Love to have you join us. Things to know before you go. And thanks for joining us at Midweek Conversations. And as always, we're loving the journey.